welcome into episode 6 of For What It's Worth. I'm joined, as always, by Erik, Tyrone, and Bryan. Erik and Bryan, I know you guys are on spring break. How is that treating you guys so far?
It's awesome.
Far so good.
All right, so, just to
Doing
the point.
absolutely nothing.
Okay, I was gonna ask what's been the highlight so far of this little trip for you guys.
Last night, watched Sean O'Malley win and golfing today. It was awesome.
All right.
Yep.
Wow,
Played
can't
golf
complain
yesterday.
about that.
Yep, played golf yesterday. Shot my best round, so good start so far to the week.
Do you want to share your round score? Or do you want to keep that a secret?
I shot a 90. I'm okay with that.
Okay, hey, that's
okay
fine,
with
man.
that.
Better than what I would do. And then Tyrone, how's your weekend been?
Well, it's been pretty good, man. It's been pretty simple. All dude, I've been working out a lot. I feel like I'm getting big. If I took this hoodie off, I might see stuff pop out.
I'm kind of surprised you're not ripping through that. To be honest,
no, come on. Hey, give me like 3 months at the end of the summer. But I
All right.
did that. I've watched probably 6 basketball games today. Indiana State and Drake. That was the best basketball.
That was a great one. The Des Moines team, which is kind of interesting. Which this isn't a topic, but I just want to mention it real quick because of recent discussions of expanding the NCAA tournament field, which at first I was really opposed against. But after watching a game like that where Indiana State and Drake both deserve to be in, and I don't know if Indiana State's going to get in now, expanding that tournament field would allow a team like that to get in, I think, somewhat safely. I know if you guys want to chime in on that real quick, that's not our topic of the day, but I just, after watching that game today, Tyrone, I was like, yeah, we might need to expand it just a little bit to get some more mid-major teams in there.
Yeah, I heard somebody talk about in the game. They're like, instead of like expanding it, don't put them into the actual tournament. Build like a play-in tournament for like all these, like the worst team that's in like a Power 5 conference against like Indiana State against the worst team in the Big 10 that might make it, or the worst team in the Big 12 that might make it, in like make that an 8-team tournament and the winners get in.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. Kind of do something like an NBA style play. And Erik, Bryan, you guys have any quick thoughts on this? I mean, we could talk about this in a later episode, but just any quick thoughts?
More teams is always good to me. I mean, more basketball to watch, more, bigger bracket. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me.
Erik?
Also, go ahead, EK. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I don't hate the play-in. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how like a lot of NBA fans feel about the play-in, but I think it's fine.
This year is gonna be good though. But if I was an NBA player, oh man, if we were like that 10th seed and I didn't play at all, boy, I'm not gonna say I would want us to lose, but like, come on, man, like, I'm this close to Cancun, and we probably have like maybe a losing record, or like we're 1 game under 500, and we're playing like.
I was gonna say, it would really depend on how my team is built if I think we could have any success at a postseason run. All right, let's before we get too sidetracked, let's go into our topic of the day, or of the podcast. We're going to be talking some free agency, cap space moves, mostly on the QB market side of things. And just a disclaimer, as we are recording, we still haven't heard word from Kirk Cousins. So that might be in a later episode where we kind of go more in depth on his decision. So obviously by the time this podcast comes out, there could be some more changes here or there. But as of when this is being recorded, this is the stance on where these players start. So here's just some QB movements around. And some of these we are probably just going to just kind of breeze through. And I think the first one we kind of can breeze through is Mac Jones acquired by Jacksonville. And for exchange of that, they sent the Patriots a 6th-round pick in this year's draft. Obviously going to be a backup, but a somewhat reliable backup, I'd say, to Trevor Lawrence.
For sure.
I would say the same thing.
I mean, not going to break any new barriers, nothing like that. Not going to fight for a starting spot. But, yeah, if Lawrence goes down and you have someone that's at least had experience starting and playing in the league for, 3 years. So, nothing too crazy, but just something I thought I'd bring up. Another one, this one maybe we can go more in depth on, but Baker Mayfield re-signing 3-year, $100 million deal. In your guys' eyes, is that a good move for the Bucs and keeping Baker for 3 years? Obviously, stuff can happen in that time frame, but signing him to 3 years, is that a good move for the Bucs?
Absolutely.
Wrong move. Baker's a dog.
absolutely the right
He
move.
is a dog.
He
but it's the wrong
he
move.
won the division, won a playoff
Why?
game. How does he not deserve that money, Ty?
I'm not saying he deserves the money, but not from me. He can go get paid from somebody else. In my opinion, I would rather not play. I mean, Baker Mayfield is a dog. I think everybody here can agree for that. But for $100 million, I need more than a dog. I need more than a dog. I need you to like have a chance to do something. I'm not paying you that money. If I'd rather move on and try to swing big and miss than just pay you $100 million, and I know what our ceiling is going to be, what it was last year.
The playoffs
Cowboys
and a
ceiling.
win. Yeah, I mean, they went 9-8. They won their division. They beat the Eagles, who were in the Super Bowl last year. Okay, the Eagles may have had fallen off in the last 6 weeks, but that's better than a lot of quarterbacks in the league. That's worth $30 million a year. Geno Smith, he didn't do that last year, and he got paid all that. I mean, I don't know why you don't think that's a good deal. And they got Mike Evans back too. He's got his number one weapon. I think that's a great deal for the Bucs.
I think it's good short term right now, because I think this is the best, the best shot that the Bucs have to keep winning the division. I mean, you have the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers. The Panthers. They have Bryce Young coming off a 2-win season. But the thing is here now, the Saints and Falcons could shop around for quarterbacks, and we'll kind of get into that here with some potential landing spots for some of these quarterbacks. So having Baker in there, you got to realize now they could be bringing in some good quarterbacks into this division. I don't really believe that Carr is going to do much damage, but whoever if the Falcons can bring in a big free agent, that's a team that will start competing with the Bucs. But the Saints were with the Bucs this year. Both were 9-8, and so the Saints are almost kind of on their tail. So Bryan, I think you're right in a sense that just bringing back some of those key pieces is going to help you stay atop of the division. I think they could go out and win it again next year.
100%.
All right. Any more on Baker Mayfield?
Lastly, I like to say I like Baker Mayfield. I'm a fan of Baker Mayfield, but I am also a fan of I like to win. Like I would like to think I like to win big things like championships and rings and titles. Winning divisions and stuff is cool, but I don't really that doesn't move me really. Like good for him, but at the end of people's careers, you don't say, man, how many times did he win his division? We say, how many rings did he win, or how many times did he get there? Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but
that's also not their team situation to where they're not doing that. They're just getting somebody who they know who can go out there and get them wins as they bring in other pieces. Because Baker Mayfield is still young. He's 27. You don't need him to go out there and get a championship right now.
I'm with Bryan on that. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm with Bryan on this instant right now. I think they know where their team is overall and how far they can realistically get. And right now, Baker is the best chance or their best option right now to just lead what they have, and they know that. Like I said,
for $100 million.
I mean,
it's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but
for a quarterback, no.
But that's for a quarterback. Yes, I get it, Ty. It's not the greatest division in the world, but he did win. What else do you want him to do? Yeah, win a Super Bowl, win and get far in the playoffs. Oh yeah, and that's any team's goal. But realistically, let's be realistic about the Bucs here. They know what they can do, and Baker got. It's not like Baker underperformed this year. Let's put it that way.
No, he didn't. He overperformed. He over exceeded his expectations, which makes me believe it's somebody. Erik likes stats and data a lot. If you over exceed your expectations, the next time you do something, you're going to come back down to that mean. You're going to come back down to reality, and next year it's probably going to be a little bit of a letdown spot, and that $100 million contract is not going to look as good as it does look right now, because I don't think he's going to perform the same or better next year. Probably a bit of regression.
Yeah, I don't know if we've seen as much consistency year to year with Mayfield as we'd like, but to say he's gonna, how much do you think he's gonna regress? A lot, or just
no? This was a great. I don't think he's going to. If he comes out and has the same year that he had last year, I would say he's probably a top 12 quarterback in the NFL if he has that same year they had last year this year.
That's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing. I just don't think he'll do that, though. I don't think he's going to do that. That's what I'm saying. If I had to, decide, will he do that or not? I'd be like, no, he probably not. But I could be wrong, though. Probably not, though.
Erik, you got anything left on Mayfield?
I don't.
All right. That day. Simple as that. All right. Like I said, we're just gonna touch on it super, super quick. I just want to bring up potential landing spots if Kirk Cousins decides. I guess I can ask you this. Do you think, I mean, we'll know our answer here soon, but do you think Kirk Cousins wants to leave or will leave?
Does Fitch? I mean, he's a family man and stuff like that from the Netflix show. So I really don't know. He's really he's the true definition of like a free agent quarterback. A lot of these free agents are, you know what I mean? They're not really free agents in the sense like there's not a real sense they're gonna leave. I feel like he's really a 50-50 guy in this situation.
Yeah. I understand, coming towards the end of your career, and because he's what, 35, 36, but I feel like he would have to like the consistency that or the type of players that he has around him at Minnesota. We were kind of talking about it before, just bringing up some names that he has around him, and just the consistency that Minnesota always provides him with, at least offensively. I don't know, you want to leave that and take a risk somewhere else, or but I guess I don't know how much importance the Super Bowl is right now in his eyes, or how much confidence he has in other teams out there, and that he could join and then get there quicker than the Vikings. I think that's really what it comes down to is, can I join a team, or is there even an option out there of a team that I could get to the Super Bowl with faster than Minnesota?
I know
No.
there's not another team with better receivers than he has with the Vikings.
That's what I'm saying.
Whatever team he goes to, there's not going to be Justin Jefferson on that team.
Nope. Bryan, Erik?
Yeah, I agree. There's no other, like, if it's the Falcons or the Steelers or all the speculated teams, the Vikings are still his best bet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Offensively, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, offensively, yeah. Because here's just who I had potentially. I think for him, Falcons, Raiders, Commanders, and the Broncos. So out of those four, I think Minnesota would be the best option. I don't know why you would want to leave. Now, if he was younger, and wants to make a name for himself or start somewhere new and kind of maybe help build a team up and then, build your career that way, I'd understand that. But he's coming towards the end of it. I don't think he wants to take too many more risks, especially coming off an injury too.
Agreed.
All
If
right.
he was younger, I would say go for Atlanta because, I mean,
Yeah,
they have
exactly.
the
That's what I
young
was gonna say.
pieces, but, he's, like you said, he's not there, so.
Well, and too, it's like Atlanta has this, new coach, so you would have to deal with that. That's what I'm saying. It's just the consistency in Minnesota. It has to be somewhat appealing to him, right?
No,
Yeah.
it is, but like also the theory of like what if or like what's out there, that's real in sports too. Because like what is players know the ceilings of their teams too. What is the ceilings of is it? I don't think it's the Super Bowl with him on the team.
No.
I mean,
it's
I don't
not.
even. It's hard to say it's even an NFC Championship with him. Just his track record, but the talent around him, he has a shot to do it. If he could just
I
have a
know.
season like Brock Purdy, where he's just making the right reads, give it to his
Yeah, but
playmakers.
the Vikings don't have a defense like the 49ers either.
It's
Like,
also
he's-
true.
that's
It's also
a big,
true.
Their defense is
That
a
was a
huge
big part.
liability, so. Like,
Yep.
he
They
could
have
do
to-
everything right on offense, and they're still going to lose a few games every year because of their defense is just that bad.
Yeah, but if you retain Kirk Cousins, I feel then you can start to focus in on maybe some other key aspects of the team. If you lose him now, oh man, now we really got to start fixing
Yeah.
this and this and this. If he stays, then it's like, all right, that's taken care of. Receivers are taken care of. Then maybe they switch
Yeah,
more
I
towards
got
the
you, yeah.
defense then. So
Totally.
it'll be interesting to see what he says. Like I said, at this point of the recording, we don't have his answer yet. Obviously, I know Russell Wilson's going to be a big topic of discussion, so we'll get there in a second. I'm not just hopping over it or not going to talk about it. We'll get there. But first, I want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback room. Mitch Trubisky, he's gone. Signed a 2-year, $5.25 million contract with the Bills. Once again, backup, not going to be over Josh Allen. But here's where it gets interesting with the and obviously Pittsburgh's like, see you later. They didn't care to keep him. He's not going to change that program or organization, I should say. I think Wilson needs to go to Pittsburgh. You bring in Arthur Smith. I also think you need to see if you can bring Rudolph back on some kind of deal. So you bring Arthur Smith in. The reason too you need Russell is because Smith was working with some younger quarterbacks in Atlanta. That didn't really pan out that well either. So can he develop quarterbacks? That's still to really be determined. So you bring in Wilson, you have a veteran. And then you also have Pickett and Rudolph that can really battle it out, because I don't know which one's better, to be completely fair. I really don't. Both have shown good things. Both have shown some really bad things. I just think Rudolph plays a very clean game. You let those two really duke it out for the backup spot, and then you figure out your top two quarterbacks. And then Wilson would obviously be your number one. And also, too, think about this. I mean, yes, Wilson had some weapons at Denver, but Najee Harris, Johnson, Pickens, Freiermuth, like, you know what I mean? He would have some good weapons, too. It's not like Wilson's going into a completely crap organization.
They're not a crap organization, Ty.
I'm gonna say the main thing that pops in my mind, like
they're not. Okay, hold on. No, how are they?
When I think about the Steelers, I'm like, Love, no,
great coach,
great coach, no, winning record all the time, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Blah. But I'm just like, they're just mid. They're just mid. They will constantly.
I don't know if they're mid, man. If you constantly make the playoffs, I don't know if you're mid.
They're a mid.
You're above average.
Mike Thomas never had a losing record.
Dude,
mid. That's mid. Mid.
You don't think him and Wilson would be good for each other
in the past 5 years? How well would you rate the Steelers organization 1 through 10? I'm giving them a 6 or a 7. Why would I give them anything higher?
Well, one, that's above the pack, and two, talent. Dude, Mike Tomlin has worked with he has not had a good quarterback in a while.
That's why they're mid. Yeah, that's why they're mid.
But they're still making the playoffs, and they're still having winning records. Is what we're saying.
Your team is just mid. Yeah, they're cool. Like, I would never. We're playing.
But I'm saying you bring in a quarterback. You bring in a quarterback that could change everything. Russell Wilson is still a starter in this league. He is still a starting talent in this league.
They're in a division with Lamar and Joe Burrow. They're not changing nothing. They have their offense,
and they still made the playoffs.
They still made the playoffs, Tyrone. What are you not getting about this?
Did anybody have any real the Steelers are contenders? No,
but they still got in.
It's like the Bucks. It's like the Bucks. Are they really contenders? No. Yes. But do they?
Come on. They're not. Now you want to agree with me.
Yeah. See, no.
The Bucks are a way higher chance of being a contender.
We always talk about quarterback is the biggest position. So if the Steelers just get Russell Wilson, a quarterback who has proven he can play, he can still throw the ball really well. We see that.
If you go from a F quarterback to a C quarterback, that doesn't do anything. You're not on an auto roll. You're just still a regular student.
That might be enough to get you at least one more playoff win, and then you start building from there, man.
Maybe you're the 5th seed or the 6th seed now instead of the 7th seed having to play the second team.
So since the Steelers historic organization, but
nothing.
But the past 5 years, they've made
the playoffs every year pretty much.
You know what I'd rather have? As a Broncos fan, I would rather have that one Super Bowl we had in 2016. Just we made the playoffs and we were 500 a couple of years. No, I don't care. I'd rather win the Super Bowl one time or make it go on a run than just be mid, and have mid quarterbacks that nobody's excited about.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They have a chance now to not only bring in a veteran and a quarterback that is still that should still be a starter in the league, is a starter in the league. You got this talent around him. This could take the Steelers up 1 or 2 more notches.
I think you're just afraid that Russell Wilson is going to go to the Steelers
and
play well, and you're just going to be pissed because he didn't do that in Denver.
Yes.
Okay, even if he plays the best as he can play, they're going to be the third best team in their division, regardless of how you slice the pie up. They're going to be the third best team in their division. It doesn't move the needle. At best, he might even be the 4th if Deshaun step up to his potential.
No, I'm not getting to that one. Deshaun, he's becoming a Ben Simmons in my eyes.
Nah, I mean, when he was healthy, he played decently at the end of the
Houston Deshaun is a problem.
So did Ben Simmons.
Not for his off the field things. I'm talking about he's a problem on the
field. Ben Simmons used to be the same way, man. It's almost the same in my eyes, dude.
No, those are two. No, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna represent
Deshaun Watson.
Calvin. I'm not gonna let you say that. I'm gonna stand up for Ben Simmons because if I was Ben Simmons,
you better not be standing up for Ben Simmons, man.
No, this is
more of a different situation.
We shouldn't be comparing people to Deshaun.
Oh
Watson.
no! I'm talking more that. Well, that's
he's in a league of his own.
that's where I was getting to before I
know
cut
what you're saying.
before I cut myself off. I was saying that Deshaun Watson, his is more just his, what bad choices he decided to make, where Ben Simmons is injury.
He was around a
So
bunch
we
of people that
think.
was hating on him.
But they both were good where they originally started, and now they both just never see the court/field. And I think that's going to continue for Deshaun. So, but yeah, they're going to be better than the Browns.
Give me Joe Flacco.
I don't know. Are you sure?
Give me
There's
Joe Flacco can step in and do it.
I bet they
No.
re-sign him too.
No.
They probably will.
And honestly,
And you got
next year,
Jerry Judy
the
too.
Browns will be 100% better than the Steelers. 100% better.
I don't know if they
Time will
get.
tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm with you, Ty.
1,000%.
I'm not saying they're gonna be better. I'm just saying I think me and
You
Cameron
just
saying
blatantly
add a
said that they're
higher
not going to
level
be better.
quarterback.
I'm
But
not.
That's not what I said to begin with.
I'm
I'm
not.
just saying
Ty
you
just said,
add-
and you disagreed with him.
I don't think so, but okay.
The Steelers
I'm
are-
not.
where's
I'm not
his-
betting against the Steelers until they prove to me that they can't constantly make the playoffs, man. I
don't
have no
know why
reason to
you
bet
guys
against
have
them right
so
now.
much respect for
So
the
they can all
Steelers.
make the playoffs. They did it last
So
year.
much
That doesn't-
respect
that
for
doesn't-
them, dude.
the
that
Bengals
doesn't
did.
move me. All right, man. We made the playoffs. We made the playoffs. Would you rather
How ma-
have? Would you rather
how-
have a ring or just make the playoffs a bunch of times?
But how many
Because-
other teams? How many other teams with didn't the Steelers played what? I think 4 quarterbacks this season, 3 quarterbacks this season. What other team could do that and make the playoffs? That's what I'm saying.
You
What
put
other
up-
team
if you put
what
up
other team
your
has a
stats,
quarterback problem like this? It still makes the playoffs.
That doesn't mean anything. That's just,
They don't have anything, Tyrone. That is what I'm saying. They don't have anything to do anything, but yet they still do.
What does that mean?
If they had more, then they would obviously be playing at Super Bowls and
In
stuff.
5 years from now, we're gonna look back and be like, "Dang, man, the Steelers really did something." No, we're gonna look back and be like, "Man, they're pretty mid that year. They made the playoffs, but
Because they haven't had a quarterback. They had Matt Canada as their OC. Dude, they had nothing.
Calvin.
This is an offensive. Go ahead, EK. Take it away from me. Take it away.
I'm starting to get mad, man. I feel like you're
Yeah,
not understanding what I'm saying here.
No,
Go ahead, Erik.
What you're saying is, given their circumstances, they are overcoming what you would expect them to say,
Yes.
expect them to be. But on the outlook of it all, you are giving perfect examples of a mid team because they have a bad OC and a bad quarterback.
Mid.
Yeah,
This is
so
a
now
bad
here's a
team.
chance. You're bringing in Arthur Smith. You bring in Russell Wilson. You get some competition in the quarterback room. You got Najee Harris. You got Johnson. You got Pickens. You got Freiermuth. You have a coach that can get you to the playoffs every year. How does that not get better? In theory,
That's
that gets you
if.
better.
That's if those things happen. Though.
Everything is an if in sports
Everything
until it
is.
happens. That's
Well,
what I'm
when we're
saying,
talking
though.
about the
So
past
if they
5
get
years, that's
better-
history. It already happened. Calvin.
Literally, if they get better, where are they? Where are they gonna go? What are they about to do? What are they about? How much better are they getting?
Well, one, if an injury happens to one of the top teams, okay, that opens a path for them. And you have a quarterback that's a veteran. You know, if Lamar gets hurt, if we
That's the only reason they made the playoffs this year is because Joe Burrow got hurt.
Literally,
And Joe Burrow has an injury history. Why wouldn't you prepare for something like that then if you're them? Bring in a quarterback, bring in a new OC. Joe Burrow's likely to get hurt, most likely. Okay, we'll be set then. That's what I'm saying. You're playing.
the playoff game, like, dude.
You don't know that though. If they bring in some, dude, they already have offensive talent besides a quarterback, the most important position.
Their team is just mid. They're just mid all.
They have a good defense, Ty. They have a good
They have a
defense.
great defense. I can't believe.
Their
I didn't
offense
realize that this topic was going to take up most of the time.
is mid. Their offense is mid. Like, who on their offense is that good? Who?
Pickens could be
I
good
think
with a
George
better
Pickens is
quarterback.
nasty.
Yeah,
Pickens, Najee
This
Harris,
dude put up
Johnson,
1,000 yards with Kenny
Freiermuth.
Pickett throwing at him and Mason Rudolph swinging a helmet around. I mean,
And they-
come on, Ty.
They had to do this with
Pickens
Matt
is all
Canada
right.
and then an interim OC. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. They've had any consistency.
most of
None
the
of these
time-
stars
no,
can really
no,
shine.
no. Most of the time, like when situations like this happen, very rarely it's like, all right, you guys have been mid. Then like, all right, we make all of these changes. Then next year we're good. This sounds like a lot like every off season, all these teams make changes, stuff like that. And they're like, well, man, this is gonna be the thing that change it. No, it's not. It's not gonna change. They're gonna be mid. Their head coach is a defensive
Well,
minded.
yeah, they're not
This
going to
new guy
win the
they brought in,
Super
he's
Bowl
not
now.
gonna change- They're not going to change. They're not going to win. They're going to do the same thing they did last year. They're going to be, the Steelers have a good defense and their offense is mid. Their offense is not going to the Steelers' offense is. They're going to be the third best offense in their division. They probably still might be the worst offense in their own division. That is a mid team. That's almost a bad.
They're
team
gonna get
mine.
Russell Wilson, lose the division round, but they'll lose the wild card round, but they'll just lose by less.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
start somewhere, I guess. All right, we got some more teams to hit, or some
We
more
gotta move
topics.
on.
We got to move on. That was fun. We're going to the Commanders now. I just know a team everyone loves to just rave and talk about. An exciting team.
I'd rather
But,
be the Commanders than the Steelers. Like,
Anyways,
I like the
would.
Commanders. That's biased.
Ty, you're joking around now.
No,
All right,
I'd rather
Jacoby
have
Brissett. No,
I'm
you
being
wouldn't.
for real. Why would I not be? I'd rather have the second pick than just have a mid team.
Anyways,
Whatever.
Jacoby Brissett to become a free agent. You could retain him to be kind of like a mentor-like kind of position, but he can hold things down if something went bad for a little bit. But I wouldn't say he's like top priority for them. But like I said, Ty said, you have the second pick. Probably, use it on a quarterback. But Sam Howell, he had 3,946 yards, 21 touchdowns, 63.4% completion on the season. However, I know that started to sound nice. Like, oh, that's not too bad. Could be worse. He had 21 interceptions with his 21 touchdowns, 78.9 QBR, and lost his last 8 games. So that's not a good way to end the season and for your confidence going into the next season. He's 1-6 against NFC East teams. And surprisingly, a lot of teams said they would be interested if he did become available. So should Washington maybe try to move Sam around?
I think all those stats, all the good stats would stay good. The bad stats would get better because he was the most sacked QB in the league.
Amen.
So, I mean, he's statistically literally running for his life because he's the most sacked QB in the league. So, I mean, if he's, just getting hurried every probably at least 50% of the plays, he's getting hurried. So he's got to get it out quick, or he's throwing it out of a sack. Like, he just can't, like, if he goes somewhere with, above a 50% threshold of an offensive line, he would put up those numbers and better, and then lower the interceptions and stuff. So I think he's a good prospect to go for.
Bryan, it sounded like you were agreeing with Erik. Is that true?
Yeah, I 100% agree. He was sacked over 60 times this year. That's unreal. Okay, now they have a good offense. Okay, you have Scary Terry, you have Jahan Dotson, you have Curtis Samuel too. Even though I think he might be a free agent, but anyways, you have. Well, they let Logan Thomas go, but maybe they get a tight end. They have 2 solid running backs. Okay, he can make plays. Yes, he still made some mistakes that were on him outside of the offensive line, but he's also a new quarterback. Okay, he still needs time to get rid of those kinks and stuff like that. But if you actually let him, have more than like a second to throw the ball, actually go through his progression, see who's open and who's not. Okay, then maybe he can show you that he is actually worth building around. Okay, he made those plays last year. They weren't very common because he's running for his life, but they are capable, or he's capable of making those plays. Okay, both the games against the Philly, they were right there the whole time, and they usually do, but they never win. But
they did last year.
If they do trade him, they did win one last year. But if they traded him, a team would be lucky enough to have Sam Howell. Just saying.
All right, and Tyrone, before I get to you on this, I'm going to ask Erik and Bryan right off the bat right now. You still choose a quarterback then with that second pick?
I think you do, just because of how stacked this draft class is at quarterback. I mean, unless you want to trade back, but I haven't heard anything about that, and I don't know who would want to trade up. Maybe Denver, Ty would want. Maybe you go try to see if you can get Drake May or maybe even Caleb Williams is still there too. You don't know. But I don't know who would want to trade up that too. So,
and Erik, you think you still draft a quarterback with that second pick if you're the Commanders, even though Howell still really hasn't gotten a chance to showcase anything, or true potential, I should say.
I mean, I could see both ways. Like if they maybe try to, just draft a. I mean, this would be pretty dumb, but like just draft a QB for like trading leverage. But I mean, at that point, you might as well just trade Sam Howell away. That's pretty.
Well, I was thinking too. Just you draft one, right? Let's say you want that quarterback to sit a year just to get the mechanics and stuff down, and Sam has a good year. Trade him. You
Yeah,
know,
I
and
don't
then
think
you
you
have
can. I don't. Yeah,
Then
that is
you'll
that
have
is a
You know,
good
but
point, but
at
I don't
that
think
point,
you can
you
waste
could have
it.
drafted somebody else.
Yeah, like what's the point of wasting a second round pick to have a top
I
prospect
guess
sit on the bench?
it's just more of like, yes, if it works out, like, oh man, I guess we didn't need to draft the quarterback. We could have used that second pick somewhere else. But also, you still have a backup plan. So I understand both sides to it. Let's get to Tyrone now. Tyrone, first off, is Sam Howell worth keeping around?
No, not really. His ceiling, he reminds me a lot of Baker Mayfield. His ceiling is Baker Mayfield. He's a 5th round pick, and I think all the like when players get drafted, like they get drafted in at those spots for a reason. It's because they have certain limitations to his game. Like he probably can improve a bit, but I think like Baker Mayfield was the 1st overall pick, and like that's a lot different. But I think that is the peak of his career would be getting in a situation where he gets a second chance and the team loves him. But if I was the Commanders, you have to move off of him. You have to. Like he's a 5th round pick and you have a chance with a 2nd overall pick.
Yep.
To take a quarterback. If I told you at any point of history, all right, we have a 5th round quarterback, and we're about to take a 2nd round quarterback or the 2nd overall pick with the quarterback. 99% of the time, you would say yes, unless the 5th round quarterback was some all-star that was balling out. And he's not an all-star that's balling out. He is average quarterback. Maybe one day he can turn into a good, decent quarterback. He'll never be great. He's not great, which is just sometimes it'd be like that. Not everybody can be great, and that's just not his ceiling, which is okay. Trade him for a 4th, 5th round pick, maybe a 3rd round pick, something. Get something for him, draft a position you need, and just be fine. Don't keep him. That'd be the wrong decision to keep him on your team.
If you are the Commanders and Caleb Williams cannot be selected, do you use your 2nd pick on Drake May or do you use your 2nd pick on Jaden Daniels?
I would rather, as the Commanders, since our offense is already pretty good, like Bryan was talking about, their offense is established. They have the receivers. I would rather take Drake May, who can just patch those receivers. I think Jaden Daniels is more of like, since he can do all the stuff, he's so explosive, do all these things. He's more of a quarterback I'd rather have. And like, all right, you almost not have to do it all, but like you have to carry this load on offense. Drake May, let's just let him pass it to our receivers that are already good.
It kind of surprises me, Ty. I felt like you'd be on the Jaden Daniels train.
No, I know.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm just like, that surprises me.
If I like Jaden Daniels to the Patriots a lot because he would have to do everything, which I think he is fit for. He can run, he can pass, he's fast, he's strong, he's athletic, he can do all those things. Drake May, he just needs to be somewhere he can just like, all right, let me just throw this ball to Scary Terry a bunch, and maybe hit all these other cool guys a bunch of times.
These other cool.
Yeah. Erik, Bryan, who would you guys rather have? Whoever wants to go first can.
I'll go first. I think I'd rather have Jaden Daniels. Kind of like what you said, Ty. Like you think him on the Patriots, he would have to do everything. I think if you take Jaden Daniels at 2, he would have to do everything too because he's going to be running for his life again. Like there's no way unless you get lucky and you hit on somebody good in the draft who's on the offensive line that makes the difference. I think he's still going to be in the same situation where he has to extend a lot of plays, and I think he's capable of it. He's very versatile, like you said. I think Drake May is basically going to be the same type of situation in Sam Howell where he's going to be in the pocket a lot. He's going to go down quick, or he's going to force the ball, and it might work out sometimes, or it's going to lead to turnovers and all that. So,
Erik?
Yeah, I agree with Bryan and really agree with Ty, even though he kind of built an argument for Jaden Daniels to be on the Commanders, like Bryan just said, and then didn't say he should be on the Commanders. But, I mean, he has... Basically, if he's running, I don't know. Like Bryan said, he's going to be able to scramble out and extend the play and then be able to pass it. But on the Commanders, if he has to do that, he has reliable people to get the ball to after he does extend the play.
Patriots have. Yeah, I was talking about the Steelers having a mid offense. The Patriots offense is worse than the Steelers. Which is
obviously.
I'm glad you realized that. Okay,
they're between mid and just sucks.
Yeah, and we still almost lost to him.
This is a hard one for me. I honestly see both sides to who would be better here. I just think that sometimes when you are a quarterback of Daniels' type and you get into the league with a team where you do have to do everything, it leads more likely to an injury because he can run, he can extend plays, he can, be a playmaker, and he wants to be a playmaker. That's not, I'm not taking anything away from him. That's what you want your quarterback to be. Now you put him, so that's his quarterback already. That's just his mentality already. Now you put him on a team where he really has to do something. So if I'm the Commanders, I think I go May but I wouldn't be mad if, at the end of the day, they're like, actually, we think we want to go Daniels. I see both your sides, and this is one that actually kind of has me stumped right now. But I think if I had to make it for the podcast sake at this very moment, I think I would go May, but I'm kind of 50-50 on this one.
If I was just for the Commanders, I think that May is just a safer pick. But if the Patriots were number,
I agree.
At the second pick, I would say take Daniel instead.
Okay.
Because
all right.
I mean, like, not that him and May and Mac Jones are similar, but like, you need somebody that's dynamic if your offense is as stale as like a month-old bag of Doritos in my bag.
Yep. Well, and I think too, I think people are going to be like, Calvin, what are you basing this off of? Or are you just speaking out of your ass? Well, I think one just recent example we could bring up, Anthony Richardson. So, quarterback had to do everything, gets hurt, kind of a similar style.
Yeah.
That's
RG3
just
literally with the Commanders.
RG3. There's
That
another
was
great
the
one.
coach's fault.
Man,
But-
literally, he never would have been better than Andrew Luck, but RG3 still would have been elite.
So
He would've been a dog.
there's where I'm bringing out my examples at. All right, last topic of our NFL episode here. It's not quarterbacks anymore. It does relate to cap space and all that jazz, free agency though. And Bryan, Erik, you guys are gonna like this, and then Tyrone. We'll bring you in too if you want to talk some Broncos moves here, since you're a Broncos fan. But we're gonna appeal mostly to Erik and Bryan here for a second. But Chris Jones,
Hey, man, hey.
Chris Jones,
Props, sorry.
Chris Jones, Drew Tranquill returning to the Chiefs. And Ty, you're still in this combo. Don't act like I'm not saying you're out of it now. I'm just saying this is probably more appealing to them. But anyways, Jones 5-year, $95 million guaranteed. Drew Tranquill 3-year, $19 million. We'll start with the Chiefs fans first. Does bringing those two back solidify a three-peat for the Chiefs?
I mean, I'm gonna say yes, just because they're my team, and we brought back the most important position. Well, and Snead too. I mean, it's a little more complicated than Tim signing, but he brought back our best defensive player for 5 years now, and then you brought another good core linebacker. Willie Gay's gonna go now. We're not gonna be able to pay both of them, but I like Drew Tranquill. He stepped up huge when Nick Bolton got hurt this year, and I really liked what I saw. So I'm glad we brought him back.
And I honestly think was why they made this move, is how he stepped up when Bolton went down. Your leader. They were relying on Bolton to be that main voice on defense. He goes down, and Tranquill just filled that spot really well. Erik, does this solidify a three-peat for the Chiefs?
I think solidify is one of the strongest words you could have used in this sentence.
It makes for
no.
more interesting convos, though.
100% sure right now, Erik.
The only word that could be like stronger than that would be guaranteed. But
Okay.
I mean, solidify, probably not. But I mean, obviously they're top 3 contenders still. Obviously, us 49ers and, Ravens, sure, whatever. Anyways.
No, go ahead.
Just
sorry.
a pillar team. But I mean, yeah. If we keep if this was the best defense that Mahomes has had since he's been on the Chiefs in the league. And if we can get as much of this defense back, it's definitely going to help. If he can win Super Bowls with a worse defense, and now he won one with the best defense he's ever had, to keep as much of them as possible is going to make a huge difference, for sure.
Yeah. And Ty, I'll get to you in a second, but I agree. I almost think it is a solidified spot for them, because they are bringing back arguably 2 of the most important people on that defense. And just as you were saying, Mahomes has proven that he can do this without, the best weapons around him. I mean, it's not like you're going to be losing Pacheco. to be losing Kelsey, so he's fine there. And if anything, you're probably going to bring in a receiver that's better than, and you keep Rice, and then you probably bring in a receiver. I think the Chiefs have, and like you said, they've done it with worse defenses. You have the best quarterback in the league, one of the best players ever to touch the field. I don't see why they're not almost solidified, Tyrone.
I would not say. I don't want to answer the question. I could say. I mean, this you putting me in a bind. I'll say.
This is why I asked it this way.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no, but I know what this does solidify 1,000%. And I think this is. I was thinking about this in the car today. I think that this does solidify Chris Jones as maybe the third best Chief of the Chiefs run. He's now surpassed Tyreek Hill in important Chiefs players and in the Pat Mahomes era. He's leapfrogged Tyreek Hill, and boom, he's now the third guy. Like Tyreek Hill, he's a Chiefs legend, but Chris Jones has now leaped him, and I think he's Chiefs legacies. Well, obviously, he won the Super Bowl with him, but this obviously, since he's going to be on the team for probably the rest of his career, he's a Chiefs beyond legend at this point. Probably the third best behind Pat and Kelsey.
You guys agree with that?
Yeah, that's actually a great point, Ty.
Yeah,
That's a great point.
You're saying like like Mahomes' run, Chiefs legend, right?
I would say that Chris Jones is now more important than Tyreek Hill. Like Hill is crazy important. The thing for the Chiefs that's really important is finding the guy who might also be better than Tyreek Hill that can lead. If they can keep finding guys that can maybe be better than Tyreek Hill, that's how they'll.
Xavier Worthy, really 32. Pick him.
Yeah.
the Texas guy, right?
Yeah, the dude who ran
the fastest 40.
Is absurd.
Yep. Yeah.
That would be.
And like Rice is nowhere near what Tyreek is or will be, but like he's a good option to have. He's a beast. I think both are worthy of the money.
I think the fact that we've paid him just shows that we value him. We valued his like position on defense just more over Tyreek. We wanted Tyreek, but he wasn't willing to necessarily take less money or not. He wasn't okay with him not being the highest paid at his position, even though Chris is not the highest paid at his position. Yep. But you can. It's hard to replace a guy like Chris Jones. You can't replace a guy like Tyreek, but you can find like 2 or 3 guys cheaper. You can't find 2 or 3 guys that can make Chris Jones, and I think that's the difference.
So 1,000%. You can always. There's always, like you were alluding to earlier, Bryan. There's always guys that run fast, and you just have to catch the ball. Pat Mahomes he's literally gonna place the ball like this. These are your hands.
Exactly where it needs to be.
You just grip the ball like this and keep running. But you can't duplicate with Chris Jones. That is like you have to be like something different.
And like I said, even if it's not like, because he had, I think 2.5 sacks in the postseason. Even if he's not really getting back there as much, he's, like I said, he had 3 batted passes in the Super Bowl alone. That's huge. And so he's making impacts in other ways.
Yeah, and even if not that, he's drawing double teams. So then he puts one-on-one somewhere else.
Yeah, that's why Karlaftis dominated so much this year with his 10 sacks, because he was that allowed him. And Omenahu, once he came back from his suspension, he started getting going too. So
and if you're keeping those, great point. If you're keeping those guys, why not bring those 2 back? That helps those others. They all complement each other. And I'm glad you brought that up. That was a great analysis. I'm really glad you brought that up, because they all complement each other, and that's going to be huge, especially keeping that consistency there. Tyrone, did you want to jump into anything Broncos related? I know they made some big moves, especially about Jerry Jeudy. Now's your time, man. I gave some time to Erik and Bryan here to shine. Is there anything you want to bring up about the Broncos?
I would like to say that this what we are doing now should have been done a long time ago, but I'm not mad at my Broncos. Like, I would say this to the Broncos and to Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson, you ever see this, Russ, I am not mad at you. I am mad at the Broncos management for paying you that amount of money. You did what you had to do. He doesn't control how much he's paid. If somebody said, "Hey, we're giving you this amount of money to play," I'd say, "Yeah, too." So Russ, you're good. I'm not gonna blame you. This is a Broncos management thing. We took a big swing on Russ and we missed. Now we're facing the consequence of it. But I'd rather have the Broncos eat all of this money now, take all $85 million this year, cut everybody besides PS2, because everybody besides PS2, I don't really care about. I'm gonna be honest. Like, he's the only safe one. Cut them all, draft the QB, and let Sean Payton handpick the guys he wants. Then if his handpicked guys suck in 2 years, Brian Sean Payton, then we'll probably have a top tier pick with all of our cap space back in 2 years. So we're going through. It's not going to be a dark stage. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. Last year, I thought that we were outside of the tunnel, but we weren't even. That was just like I passed out when it was a dream. Now I'm like, okay, this is realistic. We have about a 2-year journey left of being Bud, so maybe the light comes out.
That's fair. Erik, Bryan, anything you guys want to say about, because them being in the AFC West? Is there anything you want to say about some of the moves they made recently?
I'm glad you guys got rid of Pat Mahomes' leading interception guy, so that's cool. Thanks for that.
Justin Simmons hurt me. He's good. He's so good. He's really good.
I mean, like I said, they're making they're finally taking that next step, and just we gotta do something different. So let's get rid of some of these guys. So, I mean, we'll go back to probably dominating you guys again for like 3-4 years, 8 straight, something like that. We beat you
the last time we played you. So I feel confident.
That's true. Flu game, but that doesn't matter.
He put that helmet on. He was 100% cool. I would like to say this too. If I would the only way, I don't know if I would trade PS2 for the second pick. I wouldn't do it actually. If I was the Broncos, I would not trade. I'm not trading a Hall of Fame player for somebody that could be a Hall of Fame player.
Well, you said at that number 2. What spot? Sorry.
PS2 for the number 2.
Okay, yeah,
he's safe. Everybody else, you're playing for your position on the team, including Sean Payton. Let Sean Payton go under 500. Actually, it depends. Sean Payton, he could be on the hot seat next year. Easily be on the hot seat. The hottest.
It'll be interesting how long they want to keep him. I still can't believe. Oh, go ahead.
It really depends on the biggest way to make his seat hot is if Harbaugh comes into the Chargers and they're really good. Then his hot seat is so crazy. But if the Chargers kind of suck or they're mid,
they're kind of in a similar position, honestly. Besides quarterbacks,
if we had Justin Herbert, I wouldn't care what's going on.
No, but I just said besides quarterbacks because the Chargers are going to be facing a lot of cap problems and stuff here too, and just trying to sign. So not quite there yet at that level, but I think so. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is I agree with you that if he can come in and just coach really well the first 2 years, and might not look as good for Sean Payton.
Why did Pat Mahomes get blessed with a division with general managers that just handicap their teams to just? Why can he?
We just got blessed enough to draft him. The Bears decided to be dumb, and I don't know. We just got lucky.
It's crazy how sports work like that. Just one decision just could totally change a franchise. I still can't believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers took up most of our time today. I did not expect that.
God. It's always something stupid too.
It was a good combo. It was fun. I thought we were gonna kind of breeze through that one. So that was interesting. All right, that was episode 6, and another NFL episode. Kind of just recapping some movements within quarterbacks within the league, and then quickly touching on the Chiefs and the Broncos. As mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, this is recorded before we heard some what Kirk Cousins officially wants to do. So we'll maybe talk about that in a later episode. Before we officially wrap up, is there anything in the NFL that you guys want to quickly talk about or just bring up?
Whoever the Broncos draft with this 12th pick will be purchasing your jersey. So hopefully you have a 15-year career on the Broncos. You win 3 Super Bowls. You're Hall of Famer, and you just accomplished the highest amount of dreams you can. You can do anything, man. And hopefully you're literally the GOAT.
Erik, Bryan?
Oh, trying to think. There was a lot that has happened in this last week.
I know. We'll have to have another NFL podcast here soon after some more news breaks. But
I got nothing.
All right, that's all right. It saves talk for another day. Erik, anything?
I need now for Drakeland to get 1,000 yards this year.
All right,
that's good.
That's a good one.
Congratulations to Fletcher Cox for retiring today. Good career.
There we go. All right, there we go.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Another Philly legend gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good career that he had. All right. Well, as mentioned, episode 6. For what it's worth, if you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share the link. All that helps us. It also helps in the algorithm, so we really appreciate that. If you're listening on Spotify, once again, we really appreciate it. Go ahead, give us 5 stars, like our page, all that. Once again, helps out in the algorithm and kind of gets us out there more to some viewers. So until next time, I hope everyone has a great one.
Stuff.
Peace.